Hello, I'm Larry Aylward, custom content editor for Meister Media Worldwide, the publisher of American Vegetable Grower and American Fruit Grower magazines. I'd like to welcome Kelly Liberator, Director of Technical Service for AgBiome, a biotechnology company that discovers, develops, and commercializes innovative biological and trait products to protect crops. Kelly is going to answer some questions regarding crop protection, including recent disease trends and biological solutions, such as AgBiome's 2 biofungicides, which can play a key role in unlocking the power of microbes for disease control. First, a little bit about Kelly. She has more than 15 years of experience translating intricate agricultural and biological concepts into practical solutions for farmers. At AgBiome, Kelly leads the technical service team and its field trial program to deliver customer-centric innovations to stakeholders across the industry. Kelly has a master's degree in plant pathology from North Carolina State University and a bachelor's degree in environmental science from the University of Maryland. Kelly, welcome.
Thanks so much, Larry. Happy to be here.
It's good to have you. Kelly, tell us about AgBiome's approach to crop protection. Also, can you talk about how the company's 2 fungicides, Thea and Howler, were brought to market?
Sure, Larry. So here at AgBiome, we strive to bring the best crop protection solutions to the market. And we do this by partnering with the microbial world as a source for that innovation. Through our platform and through our company, we sequence 100% of the microbes that we collect, which is over 100,000 in our Genesis platform. And what that means for actual growers is that we're able to ensure that we're bringing the best microbes to the market as crop protection solutions. So Thea, one of our fungicides that are on the market today, it was actually first isolated from soybean grain bin dust from one of our employees' farms in Iowa. So that's kind of a cool story. And Howler and Thea were both selected and brought to market because of their efficacy and also their broad spectrum disease control. And through that launch process and development process, we also partnered with key centers of influence or stakeholders across the industry to test and validate both Howler and Thea in a broad range of different types of environments and different settings to ensure that we had a really highly effective fungicide in both Howler and Thea.
Kelly, AgBiome is focused on developing biological solutions. Why are these types of products especially relevant for high-value specialty crop growers?
It's a great question, Larry. And if we think about those growers that are producing those high-value specialty crops, first and foremost, the crops that they're growing are often highly susceptible to really aggressive and damaging diseases. So those growers need products that are really highly effective to combat those diseases. They also require multiple applications through the season in most cases. So things like fungicide resistance have been a major trend and continue to be a big risk. So any product like Howler and Thea that offer broad spectrum control as well as an alternative mode of action can help limit the amount of fungicide resistance that may develop, as well as help preserve the other active ingredients that those producers are using on their farm. And I would say lastly, the producers that are growing those high-value specialty crops are also under a lot of pressure from the changing regulatory environments and consumer and value chain preferences. So those stakeholders are often wanting more sustainable solutions. So fungicides like Howler and Thea and other products that we want to bring to market help really address those issues of giving strong disease control, resistance management, and addressing some of those sustainability goals from customers and consumers.
Kelly, what are some of the major trends seen in soil-borne and foliar diseases this past year? Also, what are those perfect storm disease conditions that growers need to be aware of?
Well, Larry, if 2023 taught us anything, it's to be prepared for the unexpected. There were some pretty wild environmental conditions that we saw across the country this year. So, for instance, in Florida, it was pretty dry conditions. There was a drought for a lot of the year. Up in the Northeast, it started off as a drought, and then things changed to really heavy rainfall, prolonged wet period of time. And then in California, we saw really wet weather all season long, some flooding, and just overall a much cooler season. And so some of the things that we saw come out of that when it came to foliar and soil-borne diseases is things like grape powdery mildew. It's some of the highest pressure that I've seen in years in California there. And then soil-borne diseases like Phytophthora that move in water were also increased in a lot of those areas that did have really wet weather or flooding as water moved through and over fields. And then in other cases, things like soil-borne fusarium just kind of held steady. And so when it comes to a perfect storm for these diseases, there's no one size fits all, but I would say overall, a perfect storm can be considered when maybe the disease control program, we've let our foot off the gas a little bit, maybe the intervals or the number of applications that we've made have kind of spread out a little bit, and then the environment changes and becomes really conducive for disease. And sometimes that occurs, and at the same time, producers aren't able to get into the field and spray. Maybe it's too wet, right? And that's where you get a spike in disease, and you're not able to get into the field and make those fungicide applications. So the key takeaway is that Mother Nature is going to throw a lot of curveballs that are in our direction. And so making sure that we're staying on top of our disease control programs and making those timely applications with the right products that will protect against disease is really critical to success.
Kelly, for growers looking to start incorporating biological solutions into their crop protection strategy, where would you tell them to start?
So, Larry, I think the number one thing to do is for a producer to really understand what the goal is. Is it a particular disease that they want to address? Is it resistance management? Is it managing pesticide residues at the end of the season? And then once they know what the particular challenges that they want to address, then look for a company and look for products that use data to support their products and their claims. AgBiome is an extremely data-driven company, and we pride ourselves in the years of scientific knowledge and expertise that went into developing Howler and Thea. For instance, with Thea fungicide, when we compare it to synthetics in trials from across the country, what we see is that about 73% of the time, we're able to meet or exceed the performance of those synthetics in those same trials. And this is across all crops and all diseases that we've tested. Now, if we narrow that focus a little bit and just talk about target diseases, for instance, powdery mildew, we see that Thea meet or exceed rate versus synthetics jump up to 82%. So really making sure that they're selecting products that have efficacy on what they want and can really utilize data and expertise to back up their claims is really important. And then also selecting a company that has experts in the field that can help support them and their operation and the use of the product. That's one thing that AgBiome really prides itself on, is having experts in the field, in our sales and technical service, that have a lot of expertise to help growers manage the challenges that they face every day and get the most out of our products.
Kelly, thanks very much for taking the time to talk about these important crop protection topics, as well as AgBiome's 2 fungicides, Thea and Howler.
Larry, thank you so much. I really enjoyed it.